As an older man, living alone can be one of the most rewarding and transformative experiences you'll ever have. It's not just about the peace and quiet. It's about creating a space that's completely yours, where you can focus on what truly matters to you, dive into your passions, and enjoy the freedom that comes with this stage of life. I've spent much of my life living solo, and the wisdom I've gathered along the way is something I treasure deeply. Today, I want to go beyond the usual list of benefits and explore the deeper emotional and practical advantages of solo living, drawing inspiration from what many men like us have shared in online communities and forums. Whether you're already living alone or considering making the shift, I invite you to join me on this journey. You may find that this chapter of your life is the most enriching one yet. Number 1, freedom to be yourself. One of the greatest joys of living alone as an older man is the complete autonomy it offers. You become the architect of your day, shaping it exactly how you want without having to consider anyone else's needs or opinions. Whether you want to start your morning with a brisk walk, spend an entire afternoon engrossed in a book, or enjoy a quiet dinner at your own pace, the freedom is entirely yours. When I began living alone, I noticed how invigorating it was to create my routine without compromise. There's a certain thrill in designing your lifestyle, choosing what you eat, when you sleep, and how you fill your days. One man I know in his 60s shared that living alone allowed him to rediscover his love for photography. Without the distractions of shared living, he converted his spare bedroom into a darkroom and spent hours developing photos, something he hadn't done since his youth. His creative space became a sanctuary for him. The beauty of this solitude is that it allows you to indulge in your passions fully, whether they are quiet hobbies like painting or more unconventional pursuits like late-night woodworking. Number 2, peace and quiet. After decades of working, raising a family, or being involved in busy social lives, the calm that living alone brings can be one of its most profound benefits. For many, this is a time to truly decompress and experience stillness on a deeper level. I remember the first weekend I spent living by myself, waking up without the sound of other people bustling around the house. The quietness was almost palpable, and with it came an opportunity for reflection I hadn't had in years. Many older men describe this peace as not just an absence of noise, but a presence of clarity. For example, one man in his late 60s wrote on a forum about how much he cherished his new routine of sitting by his window, watching the sunrise while sipping coffee. He mentioned how this simple ritual became a time of deep meditation for him. When you live alone, the silence isn't something to be filled, but something to be savored. It becomes a time to recharge and reset, helping you to connect with your thoughts and desires in ways that were once crowded out by the demands of daily life. Number 3, personal growth and self-discovery. Living alone at this stage of life offers an unprecedented opportunity to grow in ways you might not have anticipated. With no immediate distractions, you are left with your own thoughts, decisions, and ultimately, your personal evolution. It becomes a time to ask yourself deep questions. What do I truly want from the next phase of my life? What passions have I ignored? I vividly remember a period in my late 50s when I had the chance to pause and reassess my journey. Without the usual hustle, I found myself journaling regularly, something I hadn't done since I was much younger. In that process, I reconnected with aspirations I had left behind, like my love for writing. I also read about a man in his early 60s who, after retiring and going through a divorce, moved to a small coastal town. There, he took up fishing and yoga, two activities that had always intrigued him, but that he never had time to explore. In the solitude of his new life, he found not only relaxation, but a renewed sense of purpose and identity. This phase of life, when lived alone, offers a chance to peel away societal expectations and discover who you truly are, free from external pressures. The personal growth that comes from this solitude can be transformative, reigniting passions, uncovering new interests, and fostering a stronger sense of self. 4. Control over your environment. Living alone offers an incredible sense of autonomy, especially when it comes to shaping your personal space. You have complete control over how your environment looks, feels, and functions. Whether you prefer a minimalist aesthetic or enjoy being surrounded by sentimental items and collectibles, the space becomes an extension of your personality and passions. I remember visiting a friend who, after his retirement, moved into a loft apartment in the city. His space was a reflection of his eclectic tastes: vintage records, travel souvenirs, and modern art pieces blended together to create a home that was uniquely him. There's something profoundly satisfying about having your space be entirely yours, with every object and piece of furniture arranged just as you like it. I've also heard from an older man who, after downsizing to a smaller home, found immense joy in decorating every corner with things he loved: books, sculptures, and a wall dedicated to his favorite travel photos. This freedom to express yourself without needing to compromise with others can be incredibly empowering. It transforms your home into a personal sanctuary. Another gentleman I knew turned one of his rooms into a woodworking studio, a hobby he had always loved but never fully pursued when he was living with family. Now, living alone, he could dedicate as much time as he wanted to his craft, leaving projects unfinished and ready for him to return to at his own pace. The ability to control your environment allows you to immerse yourself in what you love, creating a living space that inspires and nurtures your well-being. 5. Financial independence. While living alone may seem costly at first, many older men find it actually enhances their financial independence. Without the need to support others or manage a large household, you have full control over your finances. You can downsize, relocate to a more affordable area, or simplify your lifestyle, allowing for greater freedom in how you allocate your money. A close friend of mine, after his retirement, moved from a suburban home to a smaller condo in a quieter town. Initially, he worried about managing on a fixed income, but soon realized that with fewer responsibilities, he had more room in his budget for the things he enjoyed. With the reduced costs of utilities, maintenance, and living expenses, he was able to travel more frequently and pursue hobbies like learning photography and taking art classes. Another retiree I read about on a forum shared his experience of moving to a coastal town with a lower cost of living. This decision not only eased his financial burdens, but allowed him to save for adventures he had always dreamed of, like taking a solo cruise to Alaska for his 65th birthday. By living alone and making financially strategic decisions, he found himself in a position where he could enjoy life without the stress of maintaining a large home or the pressure of shared expenses. Living alone often leads to a simpler, more manageable financial outlook, providing you with the freedom to spend your money on what truly matters to you, whether that's travel, hobbies, or personal experiences. 6. Improved mental health. Solitude can be a powerful tool for mental health, especially in later stages of life. Living alone provides a space to step back from the noise, expectations, and responsibilities that may have been overwhelming during your younger years. For many older men, this solitude brings clarity, peace, and an opportunity to reconnect with themselves on a deeper level. When I went through a particularly stressful period, living alone allowed me to create a routine that prioritized my well-being. I developed daily habits that helped me manage my mental health, like starting my mornings with meditation and ending my evenings with a book. The quiet of my home became a space where I could process my thoughts without distractions. I recently came across a story of a man in his 70s who shared how living alone helped him battle long-standing anxiety. Without the constant demands of others, he found he could finally focus on practices that brought him peace. He started journaling and meditating daily, went for walks in nature, and even created a small Zen garden in his backyard. The simplicity of living alone gave him the freedom to explore these calming routines at his own pace. He mentioned that for the first time in years, he felt truly at ease, able to focus on his mental health without the pressures of maintaining relationships or tending to household dynamics. 7. Strengthened relationships. Interestingly, living alone can significantly enhance the quality of your relationships. When you're not constantly surrounded by others, your interactions with loved ones become more intentional and meaningful. You no longer see people out of routine or obligation. Instead, every visit or conversation becomes a deliberate choice, something to look forward to. In my own life, I noticed that once I began living alone, my relationships with friends and family deepened. The time I spent with them was more focused and present. I wasn't distracted by the usual day-to-day noise. Instead, I could give them my undivided attention, making our conversations richer and more heartfelt. I remember reading about a man who shared how, after moving out on his own in his late 60s, his relationship with his children transformed. When they used to live together, there was often tension, small disagreements about household tasks or personal boundaries. But once he was on his own, their interactions became more relaxed and enjoyable. They would visit him on weekends, and he found that those visits were filled with laughter and meaningful conversations, rather than the friction that once arose from sharing a living space. His children, too, seemed to enjoy their time with him more, appreciating the calm and welcoming atmosphere of his home. Living alone, surprisingly, can create the space to make relationships feel fresher and more enjoyable, reminding you of the importance of quality over quantity in the time spent with loved ones. 8. Independence and confidence. Living alone fosters a deep sense of independence and confidence, especially as you grow older. There's something empowering about knowing that you're entirely in charge of your life, from daily decisions to handling household tasks. When you live alone, you become more resourceful. Whether it's fixing things around the house or learning how to manage your own schedule, you develop a sense of capability that might not have been fully realized before. I vividly remember the first time I fixed something on my own. A leaky kitchen faucet that I had never paid much attention to when I lived with others. Instead of calling someone to help, I watched a few instructional videos and decided to tackle the job myself. The feeling of accomplishment I had when the leak was fixed was far more than just about repairing the faucet. It was about proving to myself that I could handle whatever came my way. One man I spoke to shared a similar experience. After his wife passed away, he wasn't sure how he'd manage living alone. Over time, he learned to cook his own meals, handle household repairs, and even plan solo trips. His newfound independence gave him a renewed sense of self-assurance, something he hadn't felt in years. Living alone allows you to embrace challenges head-on, fostering a deep sense of pride in your ability to take care of yourself, no matter your age. 9. Rediscovery of simple pleasures. Living alone offers a unique opportunity to reconnect with the simple joys of life. Without the distractions of a busy household or the pressures of constant social interaction, you can fully immerse yourself in activities that bring you peace and happiness. For many older men, living alone opens up time to rediscover hobbies or create new routines that bring a deep sense of fulfillment. For me, it was gardening. I had always wanted to start my own garden, but never seemed to have the time or energy while living with others. After moving into my own place, I planted a small garden in my backyard and made it a part of my morning ritual. Every day, I tend to the plants, sip my tea and watch the sunrise. It's a simple routine, but it has become one of the most rewarding parts of my day. Similarly, I read about a man who, after retiring, spent his mornings tending to his garden and afternoons woodworking in a small shed he had built. He described the joy of watching his garden flourish and the satisfaction of creating beautiful things with his hands. Living alone allows you to slow down and savor these moments, whether it's reading a book uninterrupted, enjoying a quiet walk, or cooking your favorite meal just the way you like it. The ability to rediscover and enjoy simple pleasures becomes one of the most cherished aspects of solo living. Ultimately, living alone as an older man is not about isolation. It's about embracing the freedom to shape your life on your own terms. It's an opportunity to reflect, grow, and pursue passions that may have been put on hold. From the newfound peace and quiet to the deeper connections with loved ones, living alone can be one of the most enriching and fulfilling experiences of your life. Whether you're considering this lifestyle or are already living it, know that many others have found immense joy in the journey. Take the leap, and you might discover that living alone offers the chance to create the most meaningful and rewarding chapter of your life. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, consider liking and subscribing to stay updated with more insights on living solo. Thank you for watching.